Greetings, everyone. It's great to be with you again. Great to be learning with you. Today, our presentation is entitled Meditation in Depth 15. Now, in this regard, we'll have an image that'll help us to enter into meditation. Then we'll continue after the meditation with the discussion of various questions to do with meditation. So let me show you first here. You'll see before you now what a wondrous multimedia work that combines in an integrated way music, image, um, poetry, and very profound understanding. The work is done by Michael Mayer, a traditional Rosicrucian. The work is entitled Atalanta Fusions, and you see a particular page opened up here. It was first published in 1617. The copy you see before us here is from 1618 in the uh, Science History Institute in Philadelphia. And you notice on the left, there's the music with the indications with the score. And then also at the top, there's the emblem and then the corresponding epigram at the bottom. This is number 9 of 50 such. And the emblem 9 up here, doing a translation from the Latin in the upper right, the tree with the old man in a house, wet with dew, and by eating its fruit, he will become young. This is very important in our work of the Rosicrucians and the meditation we're about to do. If you look at the epigram down below, which is a little longer, I'll read to you a translation of it. So you may be already quite fluent in Latin. In wisdom's garden grows an apple tree with fruits of gold. So we see inside the structure that's before us in the mid-right. Take it and our old man, enclose them in a glass house, wet with dew, and let them stay there many days conjoined. When he has eat his full of fruit, behold, the former old man is a youth again. It's very beautiful, very, very poetic, very stirring. And the music on the left, I'll actually later during our meditation play you a reconstruction of the fugue that is there. Let's take a closer look at the work now as well. And zoom in. It's rather striking. Many of you, I think, will remember the book Behold the Sign, the book of ancient symbolism that was written by comparator emeritus Ralph M. Lewis. And he refers to this image as the temple of life, a very beautiful idea. And he mentions of that the circular structure here is like unto a temple. And it represents our period of life from our birth to our transition, or our passing. And always we're in the presence of the tree of knowledge you see within, with its fruit of wisdom. So speaking in a very symbolic, allegorical way about our great journey through life. Now, if we partake of this fruit, we may look beyond the narrow confines of the structure for our daily life and see the magnificent vista of the universe or cosmos as suggested by the surrounding sky and extending grounds, depicted by the landscape. The open doorway alludes to the portal, which we can learn to look from when we've eaten the fruit of the tree, the fruit of wisdom. And this beautiful work is also in a Rosicrucian manuscript that's in the repository of the Rosicrucian Order Amor. We'll notice at the top, there's a roundel figure there with a sovereign, the crown. In a way that alludes to the realization of the master within, the divine within, our divine sovereign within us, and the great perspective that the sovereign has, ideally, for the service of all that we're called to. Now, the Rosicrucians down through the ages have been intensely practical and lofty. So let us apply all these points now. In our meditation, we'll have the opportunity to partake of the fruit of wisdom and journey in realization, the temple of life matching into the temple of cosmos and of the divine, and will be made young again in eternity. So at this stage, I invite you to close your eyes after you've looked at this inspiring illustration and work of art. And while your eyes are closed, just take some deep neutral breaths, neither holding the inhalation nor holding the exhalation. Just enjoy the gentle breath. This inward and outward movement is a vibration characterized by what the Rosicrucians refer to as the cosmic keyboard. All the vibrations of existence are characterized on the great keyboard of life, this cosmic keyboard. And inhalations and exhalations are part of that keyboard. Indeed, the mastery of life, or the living in harmony with all and all levels or all senses, is like being a master pianist who can play the different scales and octaves of the cosmic keyboard for whatever is needed for one's well-being and for the well-being of all. Just continue to enjoy the gentle rhythms of the breath. You may want to check in for a moment with yourself, how your day has been. Has it been very challenging or quite relaxing? You feel that you're losing your centeredness or staying on course? Whatever is happening, just take a review of it and be compassionate with yourself. One of the great fruits of the tree of wisdom and meditation is self-compassion. It allows us to have compassion to all others. Let us pursue this period in a very down-to-earth, practical way, and at the same time, a very lofty way. For these are hallmarks of mastership. Just continue to enjoy the gentle rhythm of the breath. And if at any time during a meditation you find your mind wandering, just take note of that and lovingly and gently bring your attention back to the discipline of the breath. No need for any self-negativity. It's all part of the process of being strengthening in our attentional control, increasing in mastership. When we meditate, sometimes we're surprised by how much we're wandering, but that's not caused by the meditation. That's simply we're taking time to be sensitive and taking note. If we can decrease that amount of mind wandering, then we can be more efficient on task, more competent, which is another one of the great fruits of meditation and the tree of knowledge. It's great to be meditating with you, supporting each other in this profound act. And you may wish to extend your exhalation longer than your inhalation. And that'll intensify and enhance the relaxation response. The great vagus nerve runs from our head towards our gut, works with part of the autonomic nervous system. That relaxation allows us to be calm, more fully ourselves, improves our working memory, allows us to stay on task, slows up our heart rate so we can work more efficiently, brings us into heart rate variability, coordinating with the autonomic nervous system. And when the autonomic nervous system is in balance, we enter into a state of enlightenment, unforgettable and enriching. Just enjoy the excitement of this adventure. Meditation is a profound act of non-avoidance. Just feel whatever there is to feel, and then let it go. Whatever's of value will come back to after the meditation period, enriched, ennobled, more competent, more accurate, more precise to deal with it. And even with a degree of enjoyment as we embrace the challenges of life. On this mystical path, the greatest adventure of all, the full growing up, the human of ourselves, our full maturation. And with each inhalation, you may wish to increasingly be receptive to the divine within, or surrender to our true nature, our true guide in life, the inner self, the divine within. Our weekly lessons, monographs, our studies in the Rosicrucian Order Amor teach us in detail about these matters with special exercises, similar to what we're doing right now. And as we do this breathing exercise, which is a form of meditation, you may find a wonderfully tingling sensation in your body. You're feeling the flow of the vital life force, the flow of electromagnetic energy through our body and our nervous system, radiating out from our body, the flow of the air in the respiratory system, the flow of the blood in the circulatory system, all these wonderful systems in order are the cosmic keyboard's vibrations. Referred to since ancient times in medieval period. It's part of the musica humana, the music of the body, the music of the holy temple that we are. Passing through the temple of life, in the divine laboratorium, the temple of creation, the divine temple. All these interlinking or connecting meanings give us increasingly more sense of meaning, well-being, and love in our life. We share with others. Now we'll continue our meditation, applying instructions of the booklet Liber 777 that I'll give to you later in the presentation as a resource. Let us apply now the law of purification, not only through our breathing, but through a particular statement and invocation. I invite you to say with me now, may the divine essence of the cosmic infuse my being and cleanse me of all impurities of mind and body, that I may enter the celestial sanctum in tune in pureness and in worthiness. So mote it be. Now, fratres and sorors and participants, I invite you now to use all your imaginative capacity, all your psychic faculties, to picture yourself rising up from the room where you're situated, up over the building or dwelling where you are, up over the city or town or geographic area, and keep rising up faster and faster, enjoying the exhilaration of the ascent. You can see below the landforms, the rivers, the waters, whatever's applicable to your local area, and continue to rise up higher and higher. Seeing the clouds, sunlight, continue to rise up over your province or state. May you go faster and faster now over your great nation or country. Increasingly sense the curvature, the temple of the earth. And now Picture below you the continent where you dwell, and even the hemisphere, and now the entire beautiful blue jewel of the earth rotating about its axis. So you see the moon, satellite, revolving about the earth. And look up and see other planets of our solar system in their beautiful elliptical orbits, such as the huge planet of Jupiter, the wondrous rings of Saturn, beautiful qualities of Venus and its inner spiritual meaning, the great fiery ball of the sun, our local star. And look up beyond our solar system, start to take in the vastness of space and all the stellar phenomena, the quasars, the pulsars, the interstellar web of gases and nebulae. Even sense the presence of the black holes, helping balance our universe, and other planets, comets, and rogue planets, the great system and order of it all as we rise up faster and faster. And sense now the great arm of the Milky Way galaxy where we dwell. And even exit out from Milky Way galaxy and look back at its great spiraling action as it rotates about its center. And look up and see other galaxies in different spiraling forms and other shapes, the great sea of vibrations of the cosmos. Increasingly sense we speed upward and faster. Other galaxies and stars, nebula, and back of this cosmos, the universal intelligence. It's all part of what the Rosicrucians call the cosmic, which is the universal intelligence back of the universe, and all natural and spiritual laws that we learn in our mastery of life, in our weekly lessons of the Rosicrucians. Can you rise up and enjoy the exhilaration of the ascent, using all your psychic faculties, physical faculties to take in the full range of vibrations? And see not only galaxies, but clusters of galaxies. Let us pass out from our local cluster of galaxies to see other galaxies and clusters of galaxies. And let us continue faster and faster and see multiple, seemingly countless galaxies and clusters of galaxies. Let us exit out from our local supercluster of galaxies, great collection of galaxies, and see other galaxies and stars and clusters of galaxies and superclusters of galaxies. We go faster and faster, way beyond the speed of light, enjoying the exhilaration of the ascent. Soon, I think you'll be able to sense the universe as a whole, in its great rotation about its cosmic axis. As you sense the presence of the cosmic axis spoken of by mystics and philosophers since ancient times, you sense this stupendous system and order as the universe revolves about this great central axis. Home in on the midpoint of the axis. And when you reach it, slow up and let us dwell there at a time, at the center of the cosmos, the center of our being. And as we rose up in the cosmic, applying the instructions of the booklet Liber 777, we applied the law of correspondence. As we went higher and higher into the cosmic, we went deeper and deeper within ourselves, the increasing presence of the divine within. Let us apply now the law of cosmic attunement and the law of silence to dwell for a while in peace profound, the center of the cosmos, the center of our being. Find your mind wandering just lovingly and gently. Bring it back with the discipline of the breath, dwelling in the heights of the celestial sanctum in peace profound. Now, further following the instructions of Liber 777, picture your own personal sacred space, maybe an inspiring temple on earth, or a uplifting scene in nature, such as a high vantage point on a mountain or hill, by the vastness of an ocean or a large lake, suggesting expansiveness of the cosmic consciousness. Feel in the sights and sounds and impressions, your personal celestial sanctum, or sacred space. You may wish to picture others on this teleconference call with us and other seekers, the officers and grand masters and the Emperor of the Rosicrucian Order Amorc may be conducting a special convocation, the heights of the celestial sanctum. May wish to picture incense burning, the smoke rising up just as like we rose up to the heights of the celestial sanctum, illustrating the law of transmutation, which we're undertaking now. We move deeper and deeper within ourselves, increasingly being receptive to the divine within, surrendering to our true guide in nature, the master within. You may wish to picture too stained glass windows or beautiful works of art depicting natural and spiritual laws that we learn weekly in our Rosicrucian lessons. Just fill in the full impressions. Feel the exhilaration, this profound high point in consciousness. When you're ready, just increasingly surrender, let go, be receptive to the divine within, for any messages it may have, or just the general enlightenment it will bring forward to us. Increasingly identify with the divine within as our true nature, now and always. Now, fratres and sorors and participants, we'll continue our meditation by conducting another spiritual operation of the work and worship of the Rosicrucian Order Amorc. Let us join with the Silent Council in conjunction with the Council of Solace, our Grand Lodge. Let us radiate love and well-being from our hearts and minds to all those who've petitioned the Grand Lodge of the Rosicrucian Order Amorc for healing and guidance. Let us radiate love and well-being to all those who've petitioned the affiliate bodies of the Rosicrucian Order Amorc for guidance and healing. And let us radiate love and well-being to all those you know who are in need of guidance and healing. And let us radiate love and well-being to all sentient beings throughout the cosmos who are in need of guidance and healing. Just let the radiations of love and well-being flow forth from you like a great spotlight filling the cosmos, or a great flow of water expanding out to the entirety of the cosmos, to all in need. Just let it flow with great rapidity, just like we rose to the heights of the celestial sanctum at tremendous speed. Increasingly, let the divine within radiate the love and well-being. Enjoy the exhilaration of the spiritual operation. Just continue to radiate the love and well-being, the heights of the celestial sanctum. Soon we'll formally conclude this period of the work of the Silent Counsel in conjunction with the Council of Solace. I think you have found that as you radiated love and well-being, you didn't need to make any conscious effort anymore. The divine within took over. And the radiation sped up, going faster and faster. Formally conclude this period of sending of metaphysical aid, but we'll continue our meditation by saying, if it pleases the cosmic, it is done. So mote it be. And let us continue to dwell at the heights of the celestial sanctum a while longer in meditation. This time, let us apply the law of assumption and the law of cosmic attunement. Picture your mind merging with the cosmic, your mind reaching out to encompass the entirety of the cosmos, just like the love and well-being radiated to fill the cosmos. Experience as the cosmic experiences. Be the cosmic. Assume the cosmic mind now. Let's continue to dwell at one with the one, being the cosmic mind. Experiencing the consciousness of the cosmic. It is the cosmic consciousness. Soon, fratres and sorors and participants will descend from the heights of the celestial sanctum. Before we do so, you may wish to invoke the law of gratitude and thank all those who have loved you well, all those who have sacrificed on your behalf and your enrichment, all those who have taught you well. Let us radiate love and well-being and gratitude to them. Now, feeling enriched and ennobled with this cosmic contact, let us begin our descent from the heights of the celestial sanctum, moving with tremendous speed past the superclusters of galaxies, clusters of galaxies, the myriad stars and stellar phenomena, the nebula, pulsars and quasars. Thus pass into our local supercluster of galaxies and past the myriad clusters of galaxies and stars, and see in the distance our local cluster of galaxies and plunge into it, past the myriad galaxies and nebulae, stars, planets, and see in the distance the beautiful Milky Way galaxy, our local home, and enter into the great arm where we dwell, past myriad stars and nebulae and planets and comets, rogue planets and asteroids. Enjoy the music of the spheres and see in the distance the great elliptical orbits of the planets of our solar system. Come to the fire by the fiery ball of the sun, and our home, the temple of the earth, beautiful blue jewel, to the hemisphere where we left off, the continent where we left off, our great nation or country, province or state, city or local geographic area. Let us say together another prayer, invocation, together. May the God of my heart sanctify this attunement of self with the celestial sanctum. So mote it be. Let us continue to descend on our neighborhood, our home, building or dwelling where we left off, the room where we were situated. And when you're ready, you may wish to stretch and open your eyes, feeling remade, rejuvenated, reintegrated, all the more ready for the work and worship of the day and our mission in life. Thank you, fratres and sorors and participants. Great, thank you very much. So we'll continue now with the main body of our presentation. Meditation is the key and central practice of spirituality and for the mastery of life. Much progress can be made when it is practiced daily. First question that we'll deal with on meditation is, does meditation have any negative side effects? And the answer is yes. Now, the terms negative side effects, of course, comes from pharmaceuticals and medications, research and administration. But it is sometimes applied much more widely to various activities, treatments we may be taking. Now, in regard to possible side effects of meditation, I've often mentioned there are many positive and life-giving and healing ones. I can mention that some forms of meditation, for example, may involve sitting on the floor or a cushion with our legs folded. And if a person is quite flexible, this position can be very suitable and helpful. But if a person is not used to sitting on the floor or having their legs folded, they may find it rather painful. And yes, that could be a negative side effect, which one may not wish to continue to do, but rather sit in a chair or lie down or some other position, or work on one's flexibility in the meantime. Also, there can be instructions in meditation to not move at all. And this can help with a deepening sense of stillness. However, if we're feeling a certain amount of pain or need to move, that can sometimes become excessive to maintain, especially if it's for a half hour, an hour or more. These again could be viewed as a negative side effect that one might wish to adjust and take up a slightly different form of meditation instructions. Now, also a person who's experiencing depression or much anxiety needs to take care and practice of meditation. Meditation actually has a great value in healing, including with the randomized controlled trials that have been done for treatment of depression and anxiety. And meditation is very helpful in lessening depression and its intensity and lessening anxiety. But if a person takes up meditation who's very anxious or quite depressed and get very concerned about their mind wandering and that's causing them more anxiety, that can be a view of a negative side effect. So that's why it's important to emphasize the mind wandering, just accept it. No need for self-negativity. Also, I mentioned about extending the exhalation to stimulate the vagus nerve for the relaxation response. We've got to ensure that we do that in a way that's very easing, not forcing our breath, letting go of the action, not trying to be very hard on ourselves in how we're breathing, or very forceful, to be very gentle. If we're very forceful, we tend to have a negative side effect. Even sometimes you may quickening the heart rate rather than slowing up the heart rate. So also, as I've mentioned on occasion, as you've noticed, the practice of meditation makes us very sensitive. And that's good. That sensitivity allows us to know more what's going on in our minds and bodies and be vigilant. But initially, we may find that increased sensitivity makes us much more aware of an ache or a pain or something we need to face in our life, that we may have an outer self may have a negative response to that can be described as a negative side effect. But ultimately, the meditative state will help address that and bring that guidance, that deepest part of our nature, that integrated state of meditation, to transform and transmute it is something that's a very positive effect and a breakthrough in healthy living. So these are some ways that one could consider meditation having negative side effects, but no more so than relationships with people or healthy foods have when we don't apply them properly. And something that meditations have often emphasized, it's good to be doing it daily, at least an hour in part or in whole over the course of a day, for all its life-giving and healthy effects for us. Next question to do with meditation. Do I have to face myself in meditation? And the answer is yes. Meditation, as we've talked about, is a profound act of non-avoidance. Now, initially, the idea of the non-avoidance may seem rather challenging to the outer self. but we're given more than enough strength from the divine within to face what we need to. There's a beautiful adage in the Rosicrucian tradition that dare to do and the strength will be given unto you. So we dare to do what we need to do in our conscience. The divine within is anxious to help us, to work with us, for us to increasingly identify with it. And so this facing will ultimately be something that's life-giving and enjoyable. And the facing can be things that are challenging for the outer self or things that are enriching and ennobling. But all as it's transmuted becomes more and more of a great lesson and enriching to us. And that facing is very valuable because it allows us to clear up and make our subconscious mind, Rosicrucians talk about in our subconscious mind, we have habits that are laws. And we can replace those habits that are more life-giving. Those habits may have served us earlier in our life, but now as we grow and learn, we may realize that we need to replace them due to facing ourselves in that increased sensitivity and meditation. These are all things to be embraced on the mystical path. Next question is, what do we mean to let go during meditation? Or what do we mean by to let go during meditation? During meditation, we mean many things. We mean to release. We mean to let flow, experience the vital life force, the circulatory system, the electromagnetic flow of our nervous system, the flow of the various systems of the body that form a great music and harmony. It does not mean to ignore, though. We'll come back to whatever we need to after the period of meditation in an integrated state, and we'll be able to handle it. And something that may have been causing us anxiousness will now actually feel a degree of exhilaration from, as we have a new idea, a new concept, how to approach it. That deep inner wisdom of the master within has come forward and given us that whole new, mature perspective, often to the surprise of the outer self. But the solution will typically be something deep down familiar with to us, because our true nature is that source of infinite wisdom through the divine within. We can also say that we can let go if one's comfortable of who we are and where we are during meditation. And that is another form of letting go. In fact, there's a common colloquial expression that we've got to watch that we don't become our own worst enemy. And this can be in small and large ways. But letting go of who we are and where we are, we can come back to things fresh with a new perspective, a new way of seeing things that can give us a breakthrough and that we can pass on in service to others and feel a degree of exhilaration on this greatest of all adventure, which is the mystical path. Letting go of where we are, in a way, we transcend space and time ultimately in meditation. As we get to know what space and time are and observe, and the laws and principles involved, then we're much more able to sustain a transcendence of space and time as needed, but always coming back in our realization in the world for work and service. Just as Master, Yeshua, Jesus with his selected disciples ascended from what was said to be Mount Tabor after the Transfiguration, to be of service. And through service, we're able to give and justify the need for the cosmic attunement and those enriching experiences in the cosmic that allow us to be of even greater service. So we have a beautiful, mutually reinforcing circular action through service and cosmic attunement. Because we need to justify why we need those deep inner experiences of well-being. And the most important reason is for us to learn and grow and to give that back to others in service. Whereas we rise up into the cosmic, we help draw all others up in the cosmic. And they do that for us as well. Now, there's the next question is, what is advanced meditation? And advanced meditation increasingly being used in psychology as a technical term, advanced meditation. And by that, what psychologists studying meditation are meaning is deeper and more intense states and stages of practice that often require extended training and can be experienced through increasing mastery. These are things we're quite familiar with in our Rosicrucian studies and practice our various lessons of visualization, sending a metaphysical aid, meditation itself, the sounding of vowel sounds, and the concentration of certain parts of the body, and many other practices. We also mean by advanced meditation the unfolding of advanced meditative states and stages of practice. And we also know this in our Rosicrucian traditions as we pass through the 5 traditional phases of the mystical path or mystical unfoldment. That is the period of the awakening, we come into a new idealism and upliftment, followed by the period of purgation or self-discipline, where we must follow up on the ideals of that awakening, make them practical and real service and well-being in our life. And that leads us to even greater experience of the awakening called illumination, where there's a tremendous sense of well-being and ecstasy and other special experiences had, followed by the period that's referred to poetically as the dark night of the soul, or the obscure night, where there's an even greater purging takes place. And as that purgation is done, in that building of the greater and greater foundation of the virtues, the superstructure of the cosmic consciousness can increasingly take its place within our being. And the period comes of the phase of mystical union, the period of union. These are all related to advanced meditative states. And it's also, maybe some of you have recently read a recent edition or issue of Scientific American in July and August of 2020. I'll give you a reference for this to Karen later in the chat. It talks about what it refers to as beyond mindfulness and various studies that are being done under advanced meditation. And mentioned as part of these advanced meditative states are characterized by self-transcendence that I alluded to earlier. But there's also what some refer to as emptiness or an unknowingness, a state of awareness beyond the mind's constant word pattern, or what Rosicrucian referred to as the workings of the subjective mind, but also a deep sense of compassion. And they use EEG and MRI to measure the physical effects of these different states and their characteristics. The idea is that with researchers in psychology that the advanced meditative states could be more easily taught to others for a variety of health benefits, for anxiety, for depression, for healing, for increased enhanced sense of well-being, and ultimately feeling much more alive, confident. Also, this outer form of loss of subjective consciousness, something Rosicrucians are very familiar with. It's good to know these states are very healing. They're very enriching. They're helping our brain and nervous system to be remodeled, be more fully the temple of the holy temple that we speak of, all the more efficient in our operations daily, and more capable to receive intuitive impressions and the guidance of the master within. They also mentioned about advanced meditation that it was referred to technically as a cessation event. That is, the practitioners, for example, yourself meditating, can have a profound shift in mental perspective and well-being, including deep mental clarity and a sense of renewal. These are spoken of the spiritual traditions of the world, East and West, and of the mystical paths discussed by the Rosicrucian monographs. And they mention that as the meditation practice increases by people in the worldwide, in this Scientific American article, there's more interest in doing scientific research on it. They've been increasingly done over the past 30 years, and as new scientific instruments get developed, in addition to the EEG and MRI and their refinement, that they're getting a better understanding of the mental and physical health that can arise, things that the Rosicrucians have known about through the centuries, and that this can be something that can lead to improving our understanding of and approach to the mind, mental health, and well-being, allowing each of us to lead a more fulfilled, compassionate, and what some refer to as an enlightened life, or more, and one with the one in mystical union. Now, the last question before we finish up is, does meditation lead to the experience of ecstasy? And the answer is yes. Now, ecstasy is one of the many states that meditation and mystical life draws us into. The Rosicrucians have a beautiful term that I've mentioned to you on occasion, and that is harmonium. Harmony in all senses and all levels of our being. And harmonium at the spiritual or overarching spiritual level is ecstasy. And it's just as the holy temple, our body and mind, much enjoys and deeply appreciates being relaxed, feeling calmness and tranquility, and feeling fully alive then. So too, through the state of ecstasy, it experiences tremendous enjoyment and well-being. Now, it's true, some early experiences of ecstasy feel very strong in the nervous system. The nervous system was designed to take these intense forms of harmonium and becomes more and more adjusted and able to handle it with great efficacy. Also, we were set up to take through their nervous system, through the pineal gland, and various things we learn about through their psychic centers, take in higher and higher rates of vibration of the cosmic keyboard, and also dampen them down in a way that they can be understandable to the subjective mind, and impressions in our memory can be closed from them, from our observations and our objective senses. This is why in the Rosicrucian order, we ought to be very observant, among other reasons. And when we've purified ourselves and laid the foundations of virtues within ourselves, we're more and more able to take these higher and higher rates of vibration on the experience of ecstasy. Now, some of these experiences of the most profound nature will occur during a formal meditation period, yes, and some afterwards. Often we may have the realization that the experience started to percolate up during meditation, right? But a word spoken by another person or some other circumstance will bring the full realization and clothe it in the symbols that are the outer and impressions of the outer mind through the subconscious mind. As part of the great value of the objective consciousness, subjective consciousness, the subconscious, and how they're imbued with the cosmic consciousness. Now, I know some will say, or downplay the value of these intense experiences of ecstasy. And in that, it should be kept in mind that the experience of ecstasy is not an end in itself. When we experience it as part of our evolving and maturing, and we can actually experience, to use a computer term, in real time, our maturing taking place in those deep states. But part of the value of the ecstatic experience is to be strengthened and lifted to go with whatever is challenging to us in our life, and to remember those experiences, to give us that fortitude to continue and to bring them in greater service to others. The divine within is always waiting to be recognized, increasingly identified with, and heeded in guiding our life to attract us to new lines of service. And one of its telltale signs are a deep sense of rightness, meaning, well-being, a degree of ecstasy for the spiritual marriage and mystical union that the central practice of meditation helps bring about. Before we conclude, I'll ask Karen at this time to paste in the chat resources for you. You can also access them as a PDF that she will upload. So today, we've considered how we always have available to us the divine within for wise counsel as our true guide in nature that we increasingly identify with. And the central practice of meditation allows us to increasingly be imbued with the divine within and be aware of it and sensitive to it and act it out in our contact with others, all that we say and do, and what we do for the welfare of all. We've considered some common and not so common questions about meditation, and we've continued to explore this way of self-mastery and well-being, increased capacity of service. Thank you, everyone.